Rail Heritage Site from 2016 to 2018. Our presentation begins on Saturday the 19th of March 2016 when Steam Incorporated ran their annual Mangaweka Express from Paikokariki up the North Island main track to the gumboot capital of Taihape in return, behind hillside-built JA-1271, hauling the fleet of steel-panelled passenger cars. An express departure from Paikokariki. Away from Otaki. Underway from the loop at Maywa after crossing a southbound freight train. Thundering along the Mangaweka deviation. Arrival in Taihape, passengers explored the town while JA-1271 is serviced and turned for the return trip home to Paikokariki. crossing one of the highly structured viaducts on the North Island main trunk. at Paikokariki at day's end, after a great day out on the main train.
All the best, you old rascal. Ah! Ian, hey! How are you? How did you get up to it, mate? Going okay, mate.
Easter weekend 2016 saw a weekend of 2 different trains in operation at the Canterbury Railway Society in Ferrymead. A steam haul passenger train was operated by 1872 built F13 Peveril and ran trips via the turning triangle, enabling trains to be facing smallbox leading in either direction. The second train in operation was the ex-Wellington English Electric multiple unit and shuttled along between Moorhouse and Ferrymead on the electrified section of the railway.
I'll wait here if you want to go and do the shoulder there.
All trips of F13 had to set back at Moorhouse Station, then pull into the loop to allow the electric multiple unit to cross over and arrive at the platform to unload passengers. Steam Incorporated headed to the Taranaki region at the end of July 2016 with War Memorial Locomotive AB608 Passchendaele and ventured to Stratford and New Plymouth. We covered the excursion on the first day of the tour en route to Stratford. This was the first time that AB608 had ventured to the Taranaki region, as it had always been based in the South Island in our railway career. Under State Highway 1 at Manukau. Departing Levin. arrival at the East Town marshalling yards, the locomotive is serviced in readiness to face the steep gradients north of Wanganui City, including the 1 in 35 Westmere Bank. Climbing the Maxwell Bank. Photo run by at the original Waverley Railway Station in heavy rain. During the weekend of October the 15th and 16th, 2016, Mainline Steam Trust was invited to participate in the Rolleston 150th celebrations and provided steam locomotives JA1240 and KA942 to be on show in steam in the Rolleston Railway Yard for the public to view and have the opportunity to get up close to some of New Zealand's biggest forms of steam locomotive build. On Saturday morning, 942 and 1240 were shunted tender to tender from the mainline steam depot to the Kiwi Rail marshalling yard by DXCs 5425 and 5212 so that the KA could be turned to face south. Powering through Hornby in light steam, heading to Rolleston. There was also other attractions on display in the area, including steam-powered vehicles, traction engines, and military transport sighted across in the paddock from the railway line.
3:30 to show up the train parade, and that'll see everything in the ring.
JA 1240 was built in 1946 and is the class leader of the Hillside JA class, 35 of which were built for the New Zealand Railways. 1240 was allocated to Dunedin in her early years, but spent most of her working life based out of Christchurch. Withdrawn in 1971, she was sold to Peter Coleman of Blenheim and was towed north to be taken away and set up within his property. In 1991, following the passing of Peter, Ian Welsh purchased the locomotive and transferred it to Parnell in Auckland, where she remained stored until 2007, when restoration to mainline standard began and was completed in 2012. Restored in her original form as a coal burner, 1240 was the last steam locomotive restored at the Parnell depot before mainline steam had to re-vacate elsewhere in the area in 2015. Built in 1940, KA 942 was one of the 35 strong KA class that were built for the New Zealand Railways at the Hutt and Hillside Railway workshops, and were used for heavy operation on the steeply graded sections of the North Island main trunk between Taihape and Tomaranui. Built as a coal burner, 942, along with the rest of the KA class, were converted to burn oil during the war years. 942 saw its last years operating out of Frankton Junction and was withdrawn in 1967. After being stored at various sites, such as the Hutt workshops and the Paikokariki engine shed, the locomotive was transferred to the Glenbrook Vintage Railway following the return of J1211 in 1988, and was restored in 1990 and featured the original streamlining the KA and KB class carried in their early years of service. After 10 years of operating excursion trains across the country, she underwent a major overhaul at Plymouth and re-entered service in 2008, in time for the reenactment of the Parliamentary Special. 942 has been based in Christchurch since 2013 and still is as of 2018. On Sunday afternoon, the engines were towed home to Christchurch at a reduced speed, owing to tender first running. During the weekend of the 25th and 26th of February 2017, the Glenbrook Vintage Railway, located in the South Auckland countryside, held their 4-yearly Steam and Vintage Country Festival. The weekend saw 2 steam train operation over the 7.5 kilometre long railway. The first was a mixed train hauled by WW644, which included the recently restored parlour car in the rear, seen departing the railway workshops at Pukeowari, with DE 507 bringing up the rear. Departing Glenbrook, bunker first to Waiuku. Crossing JA 1250 at the Pukeowari workshops. Climbing out of Waiuku to Fernley after departing the terminus at Victoria Avenue. Climbing to Morley Road and up to Glenbrook. The Manukau bush jigger from the Bush Tramway Club was also following closely behind the mixed train. The second train was a passenger consist operated by JA 1250. 1250 had re-entered service in 1998 after a major overhaul and has since seen regular use on the GVR and on heritage excursion trains in the North Island. After 18 faithful years, however, her time has come to be withdrawn from service and to be placed aside for her next major overhaul. This weekend was one of the last times she would be operating on the railway for the foreseeable future. Departing Victoria Avenue Station in Waiuku. Both trains always crossed over at Pukeowari workshops during the weekend. WW644 is seen passing 1250 sitting in the loop. Here, the line continues to climb all the way up to Morley Road and the terminus to Glenbrook. English Electric DE class number 507 was also on display on the recently commissioned Glenbrook turntable, ex-Papakura, and was turned on it several times over the weekend as a demonstration to the public. Farewell JA 1250 as it departs Glenbrook in the late afternoon at the conclusion of another great weekend at the Glenbrook Vintage Railway. On Saturday the 20th of May 2017, the Weka Pass Railway held a railbans day in conjunction with the diesel traction group, utilising English electric diesel motor power as a fundraiser to finish the restoration of the IL-102. The day started off with DE 1429 heading a passenger train as far as the 6.5 kilometre peg with photo run-bys. 1429 has been on a long-term loan to the Weka Pass Railway since September 2015 from the DTG, whilst the railway's DSA locomotive undergoes repairs and is presently still based at Whitehall.
He's like, oh, I don't like that moving around here, can you just move it over there?
Following behind were DGs 791 and 770, which coupled on the rear of the train at the 6.5 kilometre peg and pulled it back down the hill to Glenbrook. The second run of the day saw a triple header to Waikato, with DE 1429 leading DGs 791 and 770, with more photo runs, a rare combination not seen often these days. train crew posed for a photo at Waikari.
Thank you.
A photo run by on the downhill run at Fog Rock. The last run of the day was an evening dinner run to Waikari, with DE 1429 at the head.
I can see no marks. No, I was watching all the way up, it was fine. Yeah. Yeah. Crossing clear?
Crossing's clear.
No? Yeah, yeah. I can see no distance. Double the life of your battery? Or
Yeah.
what?
So you charge that up and it's fully
Yeah.
plugged into the battery, so then you just sit and just flick it on there.
Yeah.
And it just starts charging.
The guy I bought this from, he said, I've got 3 of those at home, they're always on charge. And he said, if you have a disaster, I'll 3 of them, I think that was pretty much. Then your answer will be, if I want them, if I am, I'm not telling you.
Arriving back at Glenbrook in darkness, after another great day on the Weka Pass Railway. On Sunday the 30th of July 2017, Mainline Steam Trust returned to the main line with annual excursions, with the first steam-hauled revenue-earning run with the recently certified fleet of AO class carriages, painted in Mainline Steam's midnight blue colour scheme. The excursion was titled the Turi Express, and ran from Plymerton to Pāhia to and return, behind recently overhauled JB 1236, seen climbing to Pukirua Bay. DFB 7213 was attached on the rear, as part of a special load testing run after some repairs had been done to 1236 prior to his second mainline outing. Thundering along at Mackay's Crossing, near Queen Elizabeth Park, between Paikokariki and Paraparaumu. Departing Otaki after a passenger stop. Palmerston North, the locomotive was topped up with water before venturing into the Manawatu Gorge, where we hop on board for the ride.
Oh, okay. So, and it's 12 o'clock now. Oh. Yeah,
Since the Gorge Road's closure, due to the unstable rock face above, rail is now the only mode of transport through the Manawatu Gorge. DFB 7213, recoupling to the train after running around the balloon loop at Woodville. The train will be diesel hauled for the return trip home due to the shortage of Kiwi Rail steam crew available.
It's a bit foggy.
Arrival at Pahiatua, JB 1236 is serviced in readiness for the return trip home to Plymouton. DFB 7213 hauls the train back to Woodville with 1236 on the rear in light steam. 6 months later, mainline steam ventured to the River City over the 20th and 21st of January to participate in the Wanganui Vintage Weekend with JB 1236 and the fleet of AO carriages, where she will haul shuttle trains for locals including over the Westmere Bank to Kaiwi. The train was diesel hauled from Plympton to Palmerston North due to the diminishing number of Kiwi rail steam crew available, seen pulling into Plympton Station. Fielding and District Steam Rail Society, F163 was in steam, operating passenger shuttles within the railway yard as part of the Settlers' Day celebrations. With a fresh crew on the footplate, JB 1236 is now in full flight and is seen powering through fielding. Plumbing the Kakariki Bank. West of Martin Junction, after branching off the North Island main trunk and onto the Taranaki line. Whistles are exchanged to each other as 1236 crosses the Wanganui River, while the Wanganui paddle steamer steams along the river. Wanganui's Tapoki Freight Centre, passengers disembark from the train and locals hop on board for one of the 2 shuttle trips that were run to Easttown. Departing Tapoki, heading Tinder first. Turning around at Easttown, 1236 makes her way back to Tapo Key along the Wanganui branch. Later in the afternoon, more passengers boarded the train for a longer trip to Kaiwi. JB 1236, working hard as she slowly attacks the long and steep 1 in 35 gradient of Westmere Bank. At Kaiwi, 1236 runs around the train for the return trip over the Westmere Bank to Wanganui. A new day begins on Sunday the 21st of January as JB 1236 is now ready for another day on the main line. Today, she will haul 2 more shuttle trains to Kaiwi before heading home to Plymouton in the evening. Departing Kaiwi tender first, whilst gearing up for the run over the northern side of Westmere Bank.
trying to find out. So you need to ask.
Turning around at Wanganui, 1236 departs the River City en route to Plymouton. Climbing the Turi bank and seen attacking the Mangaweka bank on the North Island main trunk. Along the Bunny Fork Dip, where we leave the excursion. During the summer cruise ship season of 2017 to 2018, Picton's Port Marlborough, in conjunction with Kiwi Rail, Punamu Travel, Steam Incorporated, and various other sponsors, ran the Marlborough Flyer, a newly adapted tourist steam train running between Picton and Blenheim. The contract to operate these trains was awarded to Paikokariki-based Steam Incorporated, and provided steam locomotive AB608 Passchendaele in 5 wooden carriages, which were transferred to the South Island and based in Picton through the course of the operating season. AB608, seen attacking the 1 in 37 gradient from Picton Yard to elevation. 608 makes light work through the Mount Pleasant Valley and passes the old station site at Coromiko. Arrival at the recently rebranded wine station at Blenheim. Here, passengers board coaches to the desired Marlborough destinations, while the train continues south for another 7 kilometres to Vernon, where 608 will be serviced and run around for the return trip to Picton. Returning to Blenheim tender first to pick up the passengers. After picking up the passengers, the Marlborough flight departs Blenheim, bound for Picton. Arrival back in Picton. Since the Marlborough Flyer was introduced in December 2017, it has attracted many tourists and locals in the region and has proven to have become a very successful tourist attraction. It is planned that the Marlborough Flyer Touristine train venture will return in October 2018 for the summer of 2018 to 2019. Since October 2017, the diesel traction corps have been undergoing various locomotive tests on the newly restored DI-1102, the sole surviving member of its class, which had been under restoration since 2009. Easter weekend 2018 marked an exciting milestone for the group as DI-1102 was pressed into service to begin the process of testing and certification to mainline running. Saturday the 31st of March marked a Railfans Day and its first public outing in its new red paint and yellow stripes on the Ferrymead Railway, along with DG 772 and multiple, hauling various goods trains. To kick-start the day, the DI and DG hauled EO3 and its small mixed train around the non-electrified section of the turning triangle, providing an interesting sight of 3 different English electric built locos coupled together. As well as the DI and DG operating, steam locomotive F13 was also in action, along with Vulcan railcar RM51 and electric locomotive EO3 operating under the wires. DI-1102 and DG-772 had a goods train towards Ferrymead beside the Heathcote estuary. DG-772 leads the goods train on the run, with EO3 marshalled in the consist. Departing Ferrymead Station, with DI-1102 at the head. Of English electric diesels haul a ballast train during the late afternoon. hauling goods trains into the night. Both locomotives split up, with DG772 hauling the goods train and DI1102 at the head of the ballast train. The pair of locomotives were then used for some night photography shots in Moorhouse Station, including a staged locomotive crew change under darkness. On Easter weekend, DI1102 hauled passenger services on the railway. The next stage for the diesel traction group is to gain as many running hours and mileage as possible in 1102, before being put forward for mainline certification and being used on future heritage charters and excursions on the Kiwi Rail network.
Right away. Hang on. Got on board.
special presentation of the New Zealand Heritage Rail Movement, shot between 2016 and 2018. If you would like to see some more of our content, search up our channel on YouTube under the name NZ Rail Action. For Facebook users, visit our page named NZ Rail Action Photography and Video for our photography collection. Thank you.